called Name That Critter. You're going to start with slide 1, and this is the sound they have to play, and they have to guess. And the next slide is the answer. Thank you, Aaliyah. Here's your gift, Aaliyah. All right, Jaden, let's get ready. That'd be great, thank you. Why would you do that? Hey, Gabe, I want to. If you want, I'll get up there and then cue me maybe. All right, everybody, come have a seat. We're going to get started. Yeah, I'm going to have Jaden up here if you don't mind.
Hello.
He's going to give us the go.
I got 2 minutes.
All right, everybody, come have a seat. Come have a seat. Oh, okay.
Hello. Okay.
All right, welcome everybody online. Welcome everybody in the house. How are you guys this morning? Good. Who's excited to see some animals?
I wonder what they got.
I know. I'm so excited to find out. Before they start, if you were to hear first service, don't give it away. But before they start, we're going to play a game, an animal game called Name That Critter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play an animal sound and give you guys some options. You have to guess what animal it is, okay? And you guys online, if you're there, comment, say your name. I don't know who Mr. Cake is, but I see you, Mr. Cake. And yes, we are going to see some animals today. But if you guys want to guess online, you can also guess. So our first one, if we could, Mr. Dothan, let's play our first slide. We're going to give you some options, and I'm going to play an animal sound, and you guys got to tell me what animal it is. Okay? All right. Do-do-do-do. It's actually, if you go down to the first question slide. First question slide. I see. Oh, Avia is here. Hi, Avia.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Okay, round 1. It's either going to be a cat, a squirrel, a rat, or an Australian magpie. Can you play the sound? Y'all listen up. Oh, my. Okay. Raise your hand if you think it's a cat. Raise your hand if you think it's a squirrel. A rat. An Australian magpie. I got one for magpie. Okay, let's see. What animal was that?
Whoa.
It was a squirrel. That was kind of a weird noise. Y'all, the next noise, I'm going to see if you guys can replicate that noise, okay?
Since when do squirrels make that noise?
That sounds like a siren.
The funny thing
Okay, is it? And you guys online, tell me what you think. Hey, Anthony and Natalie, is it a frog, a woodpecker, an antelope, or a prairie dog? Before you guess, can you play it one more time? Can y'all make that noise? You sound good. Okay, raise your hand if you say frog. Woodpecker, raise your hand. Antelope. Prairie dog. Okay, let's see what it is. Is it? Let's see.
I think.
It is a frog. That frog sounded quite unhappy. If y'all could turn up yellow, Jaden's so quiet. I'm so loud. Hi, Perla. I see you there. Welcome. Okay, that one was a frog. Let's go to the next one.
A very interesting frog noise.
Okay, this one is either a barn owl, a Serengeti parrot, a red-billed oxpecker, or a kookaburra.
A Kookaburra.
Okay,
Play the
Avia
sound.
says C. Play it again. Play it again.
I know which animal makes that noise too.
Okay, Jaden, what do you say?
I'm going with D. It's a kookaburra.
A kookaburra.
I don't know.
I can't remember what a kookaburra is.
I don't know.
I
why
need to go
know
back
what
to
animal
school.
that is,
All right,
but-
raise your hand if you say A, B, C, D. All right, let's see which animal it is. Oh, our zookeeper says D. Okay,
Yeah.
I think I'm going D. I think I'm
There
going
it
D.
is.
Okay,
That's a
it is D. Oh, I do remember kookaburra. Yes, okay. All right, let's go. Just do the next one as people are coming in. Welcome to Zoo Sunday. Welcome. All right, next one is either a hippo, an elephant, a humpback whale, or a howler monkey.
Whoa. Hold on. Wait, play that again.
Play it again.
Wait, one more time.
Tatiana said that sounds like a man burping. Can y'all make that noise?
I'm not even gonna try. That's gonna sound.
Sound like y'all are like you're dying. Okay, is it?
I'm
Mr. Cake says C, saying humpback whale.
going-
Who says?
I'm going with A.
All right, Jaden's going A. Raise your hand if you say A, B, C, D. All right, let's see which animal
A
this
for that
is. We got a lot for C. I see you
Oh,
online.
God.
Oh, it was a howler monkey. Oh, look at him. Can you just see him making that noise? Howler monkey. Okay,
Great.
let's go to the next one. This is fun. Okay. It's either a badger, a goat, a hippo, or an orangutan. Let's listen. Shh, shh. Listen, listen. Do- they said one more time. What do y'all think online?
Play it again. That's a goat. I'm calling it. That's a goat.
Okay, y'all think it's. Raise your hand if you say A, badger. Raise your hand if you say B, goat. Raise your hand if you say C, hippo. Okay, D, orangutan.
I can't imagine it.
All right, let's see. Avia says goat.
Wow.
Perla says goat. Let's see on the
Goat.
answer. Mr. Cake says A. It was a goat.
Yeah.
That goat sounds like he was saying a real
Have you ever seen those screaming goat memes?
screaming goat memes.
That's kind of how I figured it was.
Those are goats that are from the memes or the gifs. All right, let's go to the next one. This is fun. Okay, it's either koala, a warthog, a pig, or a grizzly bear. Let's listen. Shh, shh. This is tough because a warthog and a pig, they're kind of like, could make a similar sound. Raise your hand if you say A, koala. Yeah, I think we know that's not a koala. Okay, B, warthog.
I'm going with koala.
C, pig. Oh, Perla, that is Natalie. Hi, Natalie.
We all know that ain't a bear.
Okay, D, grizzly bear. Okay, let's see. Let's see
I'm
what's
going with
the
koala.
answer. It's
Boom.
what? No way.
Tessa, that's that Animal Planet knowledge kicking back in.
Okay,
He's trying to get out.
it's okay. That I never knew a koala made that noise. See,
Yeah.
we learned something new.
They
Let's go
are
to the next one.
horrifying.
All right, this one is either
A honey.
a honeybee, a Komodo dragon, a killer whale, or a fruit bat.
Let's see. What on earth?
Okay,
That's gotta be no.
raise your hand for honeybee. Raise your hand for Komodo dragon.
There's no way that's anything else.
Raise your hand for a killer whale. Raise your hand for a fruit bat. I see you, Mr. Cake said C, killer whale.
That can't be.
Okay, let's see. What's the answer? Fruit bat, someone said.
That's anything other than a. What?
Oh, it was a killer whale.
What kind of noise is that?
Wow. Okay, let's go to the next round.
I thought they would make more like whale-like noises.
I used to love killer whales. Those were my favorite. Y'all ever seen Free Willy?
Aw.
90s movie. Okay, next one. Sheep. Yes? Oh, it doesn't have an answer slide?
Well,
Oh, no.
Next.
Well, can we skip one maybe? Is this the last round? Oh wow, we won't get to know the answer. Let's see if we can just do our best guess. The last one is either a sheep, a cat, a mountain goat, or a zebra. Wait, shh.
Wait,
I
let's
can't
hear the
hear.
sound.
We can't hear the noise. Shh.
That's a mountain goat.
It's.
I think that's C.
We won't know. Wow, we're gonna be left in suspense. I
You
feel like.
confirm what that is, Mr. Zookeeper.
A or C, yes. Okay.
Imagine if that was a cat, though. That'd be a scary.
All right, you guys. Are you guys excited? I know we didn't have
an
the answer.
slide.
We didn't have the answer. Hold on. I was trying to see online here. We've got.
Let's see if Miss Tessa can find what
Okay.
makes that noise.
What we're going to do, we need you guys to scooch back just a little because the preschool is going to come in. We need to give. If you're in the back, you don't have to scooch back. Only if you're by this blue line, then you guys just scooch back a little bit. We're going to go over a few
Thank you.
rules once we get the preschoolers in here. And while we're doing that, Miss Onichio, if you could pass out some faith bucks, because we do have the store today after the zoo.
Hope y'all brought your faith.
So you could pass out two faith bucks, and if they brought their Bible, give them an extra one. All right, so while they're bringing the preschool in, let's do a little icebreaker question.
Why not?
Okay, I don't have one prepared. Okay. All right. Somebody tell me, other than a pet animal, like the animals you see in the zoo, what is your favorite zoo animal? Zebra. Who made a zebra necklace this morning?
Yes, sir.
What? Mr. Cake said, wow. Online, what is your favorite zoo animal? What animal are you hoping to see today? I heard someone say monkey.
My man's already.
People are your favorite animal? All right. Well,
Tessa,
this,
what's your favorite
let's go.
animal?
My favorite zoo animal actually is a monkey. I see Via said koala. Koalas are super cute. They're super cute. All right.
My favorite animal is a tiger.
Tiger. We got someone. Natalie said lions. Let's go ahead and get our Mr. Tom Zookeeper's mic on. So if you want to get ready to go over some rules. But the rules I want to give you guys is we're going to stay seated. We're not going to get up while he's going to bring out these animals because we want to make sure the animals feel really comfortable and safe in our classroom, right? So is the preschool coming? Somebody make sure they're coming because we're ready. We're ready to get started. Are you guys ready? I'm so excited. I am so very excited. Online, just wait. We're waiting for the preschoolers. They're making their way over here. But Mr. Tom, if you want to come on up and introduce yourself and just kind of maybe start some of our rules.
All right. So as she mentioned, my name is Mr. Tom, and the rules are just stay seated and don't get too loud, right? Because I brought real live animals, And if you're moving around or you're making a lot of noise, they might get scared. And if I go back here to get an animal out and they're scared and they don't want to come out, I just won't get them out, which means you like sit there for the next 45 minutes and just look at me. Does that sound like much fun?
No, we don't want that.
What?
All right, y'all scooch. The ones in the blue, scooch back just a little bit more. Just a little bit more.
So the rules are not that complicated. Just, just behave yourselves like you obviously already are doing, right? And if you're online, there's no rules. No rules for the online people. You can be as loud and run around as much as you want.
Yeah.
It won't bother me at all.
All right, they're coming in. Welcome, preschool.
Hello.
You guys come in and sit up front.
Hello, little friends.
Oh, the preschoolers are so cute.
Is Mr. Cake a regular?
I don't know. Mr. Cake, do you want to reveal your true identity?
What is your name, Mr.?
What is your name, Mr. Cake?
We won't dox you.
What is the name behind that, Mr.?
Preschool, can you come try and sit behind the line so you blue people close to the blue line, y'all scooch in a little bit. And my helpers, just disperse yourself, sit with our preschoolers.
How about we have everyone who's behind the blue line scoot back behind the white line?
Yeah.
Preschoolers can sit behind the blue line.
Okay, that looks good. That looks good. All right, preschool. Are you guys excited to see some animals? I want to hear from the preschool. What's your favorite animal, preschool? You love cheetahs?
Cheetahs are fast.
How many of you guys like animals? Do you like animals? Raise your hand if you like animals, my preschoolers. Yeah? Okay, so our rules, they just said, is just to stay seated and don't get too loud because he's going to bring them out. This is Mr. Tom. Can you say hi, Mr. Tom?
Hi, Mr. Tom.
Okay.
Hello.
Oh, you guys sound so cute.
Hello.
All right, my preschool helpers, if y'all want to come sit with them, that would be great. All right, you can take it away.
All right, I will take it away then. So like I said, we're going to look at the animals, talk about the animals. It's not a huge group, so I may try to get around and let you touch just a couple of the animals, but just the friendliest of ones that don't mind being petted. So if I bring an animal by and you don't want to touch it, you don't have to. But these are friendly animals from my zoo. I'm like I said, my name is Mr. Tom. I'm a zookeeper at North Georgia Wildlife Park, and we're in Cleveland, Georgia. So we're about an hour from here up in the northeast Georgia mountains. But I brought a couple of the animals from our zoo. We have 400 animals at the zoo, and I didn't bring all 400 with me today. I just brought 7, and we're gonna look at the animals, talk about the animals. Like I said, let you maybe touch 1 or 2 of the animals as we're going through. It'll be kind of hard to get to you all, but some of the animals feel really interesting, so I'll let you get a little bit closer to them. But if you see animals in the wild, obviously don't play with those animals. Those animals may scare you. If you have questions as we're going through the animals, don't just shout out at me. Raise your hand. I can call on you. We can take some questions as we're going through the animals today. And I can see the chat, so if you're online and chat, if you're online, you can ask questions, and I'll try to keep an eye on the screen and maybe answer some questions if there's any online as well. So we're going to get started with the animals. And today I brought with me some scaly animals, some fuzzy animals, but we're going to start with my feathered friend. I brought one bird to share with you today. And this bird is very special because he's one of the best hunters in the world. He's an amazing, really good hunter, but also he's amazing because he's a nocturnal animal. Now, nocturnal just means they come out at night, so it's a nighttime animal. So there are a lot of different types of nocturnal birds, but this is probably the most famous of the nocturnal birds, and I'll bring him out here. His name is Obadiah, and since he's nocturnal, it might take a second to wake him up and see if he wants to come out to visit. Come here, little buddy. Come here. So, let me get him so he's... All right, so as some of you guessed, this is my owl friend. Obadiah is a type of owl called a barn owl. So B-A-R-N, like the building on a farm. Not to be confused with a barred owl. Barred owls live in Georgia as well, but this is a barn owl. And they are, like I say, a nocturnal kind of bird that we do have living around here. You might have barn owls living in the woods around your house, and you find them in the mountains, but also you find them all over the United States. And what's really cool about this kind of owl is you can find them pretty much all over the world. because some animals you only find in certain places, like kangaroos only live in Australia, or like giraffes only live in Africa. But barn owls, you can find them on all continents except for one, and that's Antarctica, because it's too cold down at the bottom of the world. But you can find barn owls in North America, South America, Asia, Africa, Europe, Australia. So they're really common. You find them all over the place. So that's really neat. And they're very adaptable. You can find them around. And like I said, they are great hunters. So what do you think makes them a great hunter? And I'll give you a clue. It's the reason I'm wearing this glove. Sharp, powerful claws. He has talons, doesn't he? He's got like dagger-sharp talons on his feet that help him to catch his food and to hold on in the trees when he's just sitting in the trees hanging out. But he kills his food with his sharp talons. His favorite food, he eats mostly mice. So he eats a lot of mice, but he'll eat some other things, maybe snakes or little things he can catch. But food, only meat, he's a carnivore, he's a meat eater, right? Also, besides his sharp talons, he has silent flight. So watch when he flaps his wings. When he flaps his wings and he's flying, you don't hear any noise, because he has completely silent flight, so he can sneak up on his food. And he doesn't make any noise when he's flying, because it's important, because he does a lot of hunting by hearing. He has really, really good hearing. He can hear a mouse walking through the grass. That's pretty amazing. Can you hear a mouse walking? But this guy, if he's sitting up in a tree, he can hear that little mouse rustling through the grass, and he can hear really well. And besides that, his ears are a little bit different than yours. He has 2 ears, and you're like, wait a second, I don't see ears. Where are his ears, right? He has one ear that's kind of up to the side, and one's down a little lower below this circle of feathers by his face. So if you were an owl, your ears wouldn't be straight across from each other. You'd have like one ear up here and another ear down here. You'd look kind of silly, wouldn't you? But so they're offset. They're what we call asymmetrical for your older ones. It's not symmetrical like side to side. Also, besides his hearing, he has good eyesight. Now, if you're watching him, he's always moving his head around, right? He's kind of like side to side looking around, because you can do something with your eyes that he can't do. So if you look straight at me, without moving your head, just move your eyeballs and look over there. Now look back at me. Now move your eyeballs over that way. Now look back at me. So you can move your eyeballs back and forth in your head, right? He can't do that. His eyes are like fixed in his head. So if he wants to look to the side, he's always got to turn his head and look side to side. And you can't see as far to the side right now. Like, even though you're looking straight at me, you can kind of see the people sitting next to you, right? Like, I can see you. I can see the owl flapping its wings right there. And I can see this hand, right? So that's called peripheral vision. When you see out to the side, he can't see as far to the side. He can only see, like we see out to here. He can only see out to about here. So he's really focused on looking forward, which makes him a better hunter. So good eyesight, good hearing, silent flight, and sharp talons make him a great hunter. Now, as he's moving his head around, we all know that owls have a very flexible neck. Do you think he can turn his head all the way around? No, if he did that, his head would pop off. He can't get his head all the way around. Like right now, he's looking straight at you. He could look at me and then look a little bit further, like maybe to here, but not all the way around. Now, he could look at me here, turn his head back to the front, and then look at me on this side. So that's kind of like turning his head all the way around, but not all the way around from the front. So he does have a very flexible neck, which makes him better at kind of being able to focus and turn his head around and look at things. So the barn owl, now he is adorable. You might think you want an owl as a pet. You're not allowed to have owls as pets. So it would be against the law for you to keep that. Somebody asked, what is that? It is a barn owl. Barn owl specifically is the type. And somebody said they eat fish. Well, maybe. Most owls don't. There are some birds of prey like osprey or bald eagles that eat a lot of fish. They're really good. Owls don't generally go in the water, but it is meat, so theoretically they could, but it's not one of their favorite foods. So I'm going to bring him around. You're not going to touch this guy, just looking at him. I'll bring him by a little bit closer so you can see him a little closer, but do not reach up to touch him. Just looking at the owl. And while I'm bringing him by, are there any owl questions? Anything about the owl I haven't said yet? Yes? Yeah, birds have twice as many bones in their neck as we have. So what the bones in your neck are called vertebrae, and he has twice as many, so his neck is like twice as flexible as yours. Like you can get your chin like to your shoulder, right? And he can get it twice as far to his back, so because he has twice as many bones. So, question at the end, yeah. Yeah, the speckling on his belly. Different barn owls have more or less of those spots on his belly. It just depends on the kind of barn owl. But yeah, they do have the pretty spots on his back and the speckles on his belly. It's just part of his decoration. May help him to blend in where he lives. Yeah. So let's see how to sneak on through here. I'm going to just be on your right here. Trying to step on your phone. All right. So any other owl questions? Yes? He's scary. Well, you're a lot bigger than he is. He probably thinks that you're scary. But he doesn't think you're scary because he's been around people all his life. Now, go ahead. They're nocturnal. It's easier for him to, first he can hide from predators because there are some animals that hunt owls. So when he comes out at night, those animals aren't there to hunt him. But also it's easier for him to sneak up on his food because the food might not see him coming. So yeah, nocturnal animal. He just hunts at night. Yes? It's not complete like infrared vision. It's not like nighttime goggles you see that like, but he can see when there's less light. So there can be almost no light at all when we couldn't see, and he's still able to pick up a little bit. But he doesn't have anything like, some snakes have like heat sensing pits or something like that. He doesn't have any of that. Okay, now this is a perfect thing. You guys were doing the animal noises earlier, and I noticed you guys, you're stumped by the kookaburra noise there because kookaburras make that, ooh, right? So birds make lots of crazy noises. Now, one of the animals, there was a barn owl listed as one of the animals that it could have been. But go ahead, what do you think he might see? Make an owl noise for me. Yeah, that hoo 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 hoo. That is really good. You sound like a great owl if you are a barred owl. Barred owls make that noise. So if you're out in the woods, and we have barred owls around here, and you hear that hoo 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 hoo, it sounds like they're saying, who cooks for you, but in an owl noise. Hoo 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 hoo, who cooks for you, hoo 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 hoo, hoo hoo hoo. That's a barred owl. But this owl doesn't make that noise. He doesn't say who. He makes these weird clicking and screeching and high-pitched noises that you would, if you had heard that noise as part of your quiz, none of you would have guessed it, because it's really, really, really weird. And so not all owls make that hooting noise, but some do. So there's a lot of crazy noises out there, and you don't realize which animals are making which, right? All righty, so that's Obadiah, our barn owl. Let's say goodbye to Obadiah. And we'll let him go back to sleep since he usually sleeps during the day. Good job, buddy. Now, my next animal is a fuzzy animal. We'll look at some mammals next. Some animals with hair. And those are, like I say, the mammals, the animals that have hair, drink milk when they're babies, live birth, warm blood, all that stuff you learn in school. And my first animal definitely has hair. In fact, my first two fuzzy animals are known for their hair because my first fuzzy animal is probably the softest animal in the world. And my second fuzzy animal is going to be a sharp and pointy fuzzy animal. But we'll start with soft and fluffy to get you warmed up here. And like I said, this could be one of the softest animals in the world. Her name is Esther. Yeah. And as some of you guessed, Esther is a chinchilla. She's not a bunny rabbit or a mouse. She is a rodent, so she's in the rodent family, but she has super, super soft, fluffy fur. Now, her fur helps to keep her warm. Now, she lives in a desert. And when I say a desert, do you guys usually think of hot or cold? Hot. Yeah, everybody thinks hot when you think of the desert because we think of like the sandy Sahara Desert and where it's really, really hot. But actually, desert just means it's dry, right? It means they don't get much rain. And you've heard, I mentioned Antarctica earlier. It's really cold, it's the bottom of the world. There are parts of Antarctica where it hasn't rained or snowed for thousands of years. It's really dry, it's a desert. But this one lives in a desert that is cold in South America, in the Andes Mountains. She's jumping around. So they live in the Andes Mountains where it's really cold and dry. And so she has her soft, fluffy fur coat to help keep her warm in the desert where she lives. So soft, fluffy fur. Because of that, there's not much water. She doesn't take a bath. Like when you guys get dirty, your parents make you take a bath with soap and water, but there's not a lot of water where she lives. So they take dust baths instead of water baths. They find these crushed up piles of volcanic rock and they roll in it, and the powder sticks to their fur and keeps other things from sticking to them, and like keeps oil off their skin and stuff. So dust baths instead of water baths. I'll bring her by. Actually, This is one of the animals I want to give you a chance to pet because she's so soft. So I'm going to come by. I'll come to you. Just stay seated. I'll try to go in an order where we can all get a turn if you want to touch. You want to see what she feels like? All right. Here you go. There you go. Okay. I saw a lot of hands. There we go. All right. Let's see, we got you already. Okay. Here we are. You want to touch? No? You want a pet? Big kids too. Here we go. All right. So, very, very soft, right? Like kind of like a kitty cat or a dog, but even softer. We get you guys already? Did you guys get a turn? Oh, you didn't. Okay, here, go ahead. Yeah, in Georgia, you are allowed to have these as pets. Well, let me say there's no law against having them as pets. There are lots of moms that would be against having these as pets. There's a chinchilla. Here we are. Did you get a turn? Okay. And if you're watching online, reach out and pretend you're petting. There you go. Soft. Yeah, very soft. All right. We're getting wiggly. She's like, I want to get down and run around. Okay, so everybody's very gentle. Thank you for following instructions. Just petting her back and noticing her funny wiggling whiskers, lots of cool things. She is a herbivore, so she doesn't eat any meat. The owl was a carnivore. These ones only eat fruits and vegetables and plants and grass and seeds and things like that, growing plants, no meat for these guys. Yes? These would want to hide from owls. Chinchillas could be on the menu for an owl, so we would not let these two play together, right? This one's pretty big. For that size owl, wouldn't usually hunt something this big. There are bigger hawks and owls, so that's why these guys hide under rocks and go down in tunnels a lot. Question? Where do they? Oh, I mean, pet stores would sell chinchillas. But of course, before you buy any animals as pets, make sure you learn about them, read them, and learn about them. And that way you could make sure you're willing to take care of them. Because, you have to remember to feed them and water them and clean up after them. And it's fun, but it's also a lot of work to have animals, right? Somebody online there says that their mom is not wild about animals. That's not the exact word that they used, but it's okay. You know what? I'm not here to tell you have to like the animals, but appreciate them, enjoy them from a distance. And some people like animals, some people don't. Some people like football, some people like baseball, some people don't like sports. It's okay. Yes? Okay, question. Can they see? Their vision is okay. They're mostly worried about predators. You notice if you look at her, her eyes are on the side of her head, and that way she can see it like around. I said the owl couldn't see to the side very good. This chinchilla can see almost all the way around, so nothing can sneak up from behind them. So that's one of the things that helps them to survive. And last question, we'll move on. They make kind of a squeaking noise, almost like that. It wasn't the squirrel noise you heard. It's kind of similar to that. All righty, so let's say goodbye to Esther. All righty. Now, my next animal, as I mentioned, also has hair, but it's not special, super soft, fluffy hair to stay warm. This next animal, its hair is its defense. And obviously, an animal's defense keeps them safe or protected, right? So an animal's defense, some animals' defense is to run fast. Some animals fly away when they get scared. Some animals are good at hiding, like camouflage. Well, this animal, its hair is his defense, so his hair, instead of being soft and fluffy, is sharp and pointy. And raise your hand if you know a sharp and pointy animal. Give me one. Let's see what you got. Hedgehogs are sharp and pointy. What else? Porcupines are sharp and pointy. Anybody know another one besides hedgehogs and porcupines? You know another one? Well, we said hedgehogs and porcupines. Anybody know anything besides those two? Say it again. Well, alligators have sharp pointed teeth, but that's not exactly what I was talking about. Well, the scales on their back are in kind of a ridge that's, yes? Well, we're talking about animals with sharp spines, and there's lots of them. We said porcupines and hedgehogs. Have you guys heard of sea urchins in the ocean? Pufferfish and lionfish are some fish that have spines. There's an animal called tenrex in Australia. There's an animal called a spiny anteater. So spines, you can find them in all different kinds of animals all over the world as a good defense. This is one of the first ones you guessed, though. And this one, his name's Aquila. He is an African pygmy hedgehog. Come here, buddy. Now, right now, he's all curled up and hiding, and he's just a big ball of spines with his little nose sticking out to see if you're scary. Because if you were a predator in the wild and you came and tried to take a bite of him, all you'd get would be a mouthful of spines. And does that look like something you want to put in your mouth? No. So that's his protection. That's his defense. It keeps him safe from other animals. Now, some people who have been watching too many cartoons think that porcupines and hedgehogs can shoot their spines. But it's just sharp and pointy hair. Can you shoot the hair out of your head? No. It looks like I've been doing that, but I haven't. If you run into it, it hurts, but they can't like shoot it. Now, where the story comes from is porcupines have a tail. If you get too close to a North American porcupine, he'll turn his backside towards you, smack you with their tail. The spines are kind of loosely attached. They'll stick into you, and it looks like you've been shot. But you actually have to get close enough to actually touch them or push against them for it to hurt. So hedgehogs, porcupines, spines. But this has spines, but he's not a small porcupine. He is a hedgehog. Yes? Yes, that's a good question. He has hair. So the hair, the sharp pointy hair, is when it falls out, they shed, and it'll grow back. It'll grow new. And just like people, as they get older, the hair thins out. They'll end up with less spines on them. If you see a hedgehog that has very few less spines, and it just means their hair is thinning out and they're getting older. So I guess the chinchilla touching went pretty good, and I was able to get through pretty fast. So we'll do that as well. Since he feels so different, I'll let you pet him. As long as you're gentle, pet from the front to the back, it's okay. You can pet him. Don't poke him or he'll poke you back. Just flat hand and pet like that, okay? If you don't want to touch, you don't have to. But we'll start over here and touch. So you might notice as he comes by, there's a purple dot on his backside. That is fingernail polish. It's paint. It's an ID mark. We have 8 of these at the zoo. They all look alike, so we put a different color dot on them so we can tell them apart. Yeah. So that's not something weird. Want to touch? And this guy is adorable, and you might think you want a hedgehog as a pet, but you are not allowed to have hedgehogs as pets in Georgia. It would be against the law to keep a hedgehog as a pet. Okay. Not his face. Pet the animals on their backs. Put fingers in an animal's face, you're likely to get bit. We'll go with, you can touch. He's getting wiggly. He wants to get down and run around. No, you are not allowed to have porcupines as pets either. Good job. Did we get you guys already? Yeah. Did you touch them? Okay. Trying to go in a pattern here so I don't miss anybody. Yeah, it feels different. As long as you're gentle, it doesn't hurt. Good job. close up here. He's getting wiggly. He's like, let me down to run around. Okay, either side. Thank you. All righty, so we'll, I don't know. Some people expect hedgehogs to be blue and fast and named Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog is not real, that's a cartoon. Hedgehogs are actually brown and white and very slow. That's full speed, that's running for him. So, so talking about animal food, we said different animals eat different things. You know what his favorite food is? Bugs. Ew, you guys don't eat bugs? You need to dip them in chocolate first, then they're really good. No, don't. No, that's, no, you shouldn't, don't eat bugs, leave the bugs. But obviously, when he gets hungry, can he go to the grocery store to get his food? No. So he's out there in the wild looking for food and bugs, and you think it's kind of gross he's eating bugs? But if we didn't have animals eating bugs, we'd have way too many bugs around. So he's like a natural exterminator. So they're good to have around, keep us from having too many bugs around. Yes, question? Or any questions online? Yeah. Yeah. There you go. But I don't know that that's the way you really want to get rid of bugs in your house. Because you release the hedgehog to get rid of the bugs, and you have an infestation of hedgehogs, and you have to get something to get rid of the hedgehogs. Yeah. But, well, yeah, I don't know if you want them, I also don't know if you'd want them roaming your house free because you can't potty train a hedgehog. So it'd get a little messy. So, okay, so he's an African pygmy hedgehog. Like I said earlier, you cannot have them as pets here in the state of Georgia. We're a licensed zoo, that's we can keep animals that you're not allowed to have. So, hedgehog, no, the bird had feathers. The chinchilla and the hedgehog have fur. And we'll look at another fuzzy animal a bit later. But my next couple animals don't have fur and they don't have feathers. I brought some scaly friends to share with you today. So let's say goodbye to Aquila. And somebody mentioned Pokemon online. Are there hedgehogs in Pokemon? There are? Okay, I don't. That's not something I'm familiar with, but okay. Now, scaly animals. So raise your hand if you know a scaly animal. What kind of animals have scales? Give me one. What do you think? You? Okay, you're a little scaly sometimes, then you take a bath? Yes. Snakes have scales. What else? Lizards. So snakes, lizards. What else? Alligators. What else? Komodo dragons, which are the biggest lizard. We mentioned lizards. Which are lizards? What do you think? Fish are scaly. They're not reptiles, but that does answer the question, what has scales? So I'll take that. What else? Armadillos, people always say that, but armadillos are actually mammals. They have hair. They drink milk when they're babies. They're warm-blooded. So armadillos look kind of scaly, but there's not really scales on them. That's just the pattern of their skin. So, yeah, not exactly armadillos. Yes? Turtles, there we go. That's the last main group. Snakes, lizards, turtles, alligators, crocodiles, fish. Dinosaurs had scales. I didn't bring any dinosaurs with me today, but I did bring some other scaly animals. And we'll start with the lizards. How's that? So, lizards. Now, somebody mentioned the Komodo dragon. Komodo dragons are the largest kind of lizard in the world. They're 9 to 10 feet long, and they're a kind of monitor lizard. So there's lots of different groups of lizards. Well, we don't have a Komodo dragon at our zoo, but this is a different kind of monitor lizard. She's only about 1 year old, so she's got a lot of growing left to do. She's called a savanna monitor lizard. Savanna is an area, the savannas are the grasslands of Africa. That's where this one lives. Her name is Fluffy. Yeah. Yeah, she's a cutie. Fluffy is a savanna monitor lizard. Like I said, she's only a little over a year old. Full grown, she can get up to 6 feet long. So that's like as long as I am tall, right? So that's a lot of growing left to do, and she's going to get pretty big. But she is a carnivore. She's a meat eater, and she'll eat rodents like mice. They'll eat snakes, they'll eat lizards, they'll eat birds if they can catch them, they'll eat eggs, pretty much any meat they can catch, they're happy. They're not real picky eaters. But she's got some really cool things about her. Monitor lizards are known for their long, powerful tails. You see her tail, it kind of narrows down, has a ridge down the back, and is sharp, kind of sharp at the end. That's one of her defenses. If you get too close to one of these in the wild, like I told you, porcupines might hit you with their tail. She's going to use that tail like a whip. The lizards will also smack you with their tails. Some lizards' tails might fall off, not this one. These lizards' tails are really well attached, very strong, and can be used for defense or for hitting. Also, long, sharp, powerful claws. And when she comes a little closer, you'll notice she's sticking her tongue out at you sometimes. You guys notice that? Sometimes she'll stick her tongue out. Now, it's not nice. It's not polite for you to stick your tongue out. But do you know what she's doing with her tongue? I'll give you a clue. What do you do with your nose? Smell. She has a nose right in front of her eyes there, but she doesn't smell with her nose. She smells with her tongue. So she sticks her tongue out, waves it in the air, pulls it back in, and tastes what landed on her tongue. So you would usually sniff into your nose. She just has a super sensitive smell for using her tongue to taste. Do you have a question, sweetie? You have a question? Why does she have a nose? Well, what else do you do with your nose besides smell? Breathe. Yeah, they just breathe through their nose, and they smell with their tongues. Yeah, good. Well, you say she kind of looks like a snake. She is scaly, she's long, she's a reptile, so she kind of looks snakish. But what does she have that snakes do not have? Legs and feet, right? Also, she has little holes on the side of her head. What do you think those holes might be? Ears. Lizards have ears. Snakes don't have any ears. Also, if I put my finger up to her eye, she'll blink and close her eyes because lizards have eyelids. Snakes don't have any eyelids. Snakes have to sleep with their eyes wide open. Snakes never blink. So while she looks a little snake-like, she has ears, eyelids, and legs, which lets us know that it's a lizard and not a snake. So this one we're not going to touch. I'll bring her by so you can see her a little bit closer. Hopefully here comes her tongue. Up. She's trying to stick her tongue out, but it's not working. There we go. There it goes. See it? So she'll stick her tongue out at you. Smelling you, that's how she knows that you're not a mouse and not food. Yes? Great question. That's a good observation. She noticed that her tongue is what we call forked. It has two sides to it, like a fork that you eat with, and it has two sides. And that's the same reason you have two eyes. Did you ever think about why you have two eyes? It's for 3D vision. Like if you close one eye, you can still see, but you can't really see how far away things are. Same with her tongue. When she sticks her tongue out, the two sides, whatever she's smelling, is closer to one side or the other, and she can tell direction and distance using her tongue. So, yeah, did you see her sticking her tongue out there, you guys at home? I'll wait here one more time, wait for her to, and now she won't do it, of course, huh? Come here, stick your tongue out for the folks at home. She's not cooperating. Oh, well, come here, girl. We can do this all day. What's your question? There it goes. See it? There you go. Can they be dangerous? Oh, I definitely would not want to get bit by one of these. They do have very sharp teeth, powerful jaws. So yeah, I guess we got our one tongue there for, as soon as I start walking away. So, all righty. But I would not recommend this lizard as a pet because once again, I told you this lizard is going to get like 5 to 6 feet long. I mean, once it's like from here to that box there, I mean, that's a lot of lizard to keep at your house, right? Also, if you need to get a lizard for a pet, I might recommend looking into geckos or bearded dragons. Bearded dragons, if you know how to take care of them, can be a good pet. Yes? Okay, yes, you can get lizards as pets. No, they're not venomous. They just have sharp teeth and powerful jaws. No venom, no poison or anything like that. Yes? You might think of iguana. In the wild, iguanas. Yeah, there's different kinds of lizards around. And when you go down to Florida, there's going to be a lot more types of reptiles than we have living around here. So, alrighty, so that's Fluffy, our Savannah monitor lizard. Let's say goodbye to Fluffy. We'll let her go back to sleep. Now, Why? Why did I call her Fluffy? Because I think it's funny. Dad jokes. Okay, so my next scaly animal, it's kind of like calling the biggest guy in the class tiny, right? So my next scaly animal is also another animal that has ears, eyelids, and legs, so it's not a snake, but the lizard lived mostly in the dry desert areas of Africa. This one spends most of its life in the swamps, swimming around. And this one's just a baby, but when full grown will be one of the biggest scaly animals in the world. Her name is Allie, Little Miss Allie Gator. Yeah, this is a young American alligator. She's almost 2 years old, but she is going to get a lot bigger. She's going to get really, really, really big. She can get 8 to 10 feet long. Males can get 12 to 15 feet long, with the biggest record American alligator I've ever heard of being just under 20 feet long. Do you know how long that is? I'm going to show you. I'm going to start walking at this door at the wall over here. And probably give you feedback here. I'm going to walk 20 feet that way. 5, 10, 15, 20. It's about here. So if the biggest alligator ever was here and the end of his tail was where I'm standing, his nose would be touching the wall over there. From me to the wall is how long the biggest alligator. Some crocodiles get even bigger than that. And that is big and dangerous. But do you think alligators and crocodiles want to eat people? No. Crocodiles and alligators eat things like fish and frogs and turtles and poodles and things like that. But not poodles. Little fluffy dogs. Yeah. We call them Scooby snacks. Or lunch on a leash. No, we don't feed them dogs. Don't call animal control on us. But they are meat eaters. But the reason they don't want to eat people is, first off, they're going to eat the easiest thing to catch. Are you all smarter than fish? Most of us are. So easier to catch fish than to catch people. But also, when this alligator's full grown, she's like 10 feet long, like from me to the wall, she's only going to need to eat about 120 pounds of meat in a whole year. 120 pounds sounds like a lot, but that's like eating 3 preschoolers together at once in a whole year. Do you eat all your food at once for the whole year? No, you eat little things. You eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks every day. If you piled up all the food you ate at the end of the year, it'd be like a huge pile of food, right? But just like you don't eat all your food at once for the whole year in one big piece, neither do alligators. They're going to eat small things that are easier to catch. Now, some people do get hurt by alligators, but it's not because the alligator's hunting you to eat you. Because if you see a cute little baby alligator in the wild, you know what might be nearby? Big mama alligator. And she's going to do what good moms do. She's going to protect her babies. Also, they're territorial. You know what an animal's territory is? It's like their home. It's their habitat. It's where they hang out. Your territory is like your house, your school, the church, where you're comfortable being. And just like we don't want strangers in our house uninvited, they're not real wild about strangers in their house uninvited either. So if you go into where the alligators live and you're not paying attention, you get too close, you might get hurt. But if you pay attention, stay away from them, they'll stay away from you, right? All right, question in the back. I would just stay away from the adults and the babies. You don't know. You might scare them. And animals only bite if they're mad or scared or think you're food. So if you scare them or make them mad, they might try to chase you away, right? Question. They don't swallow people. Somebody where? Occasionally, very rarely, we hear people getting hurt by alligators. Now, there are millions of alligators in South Georgia and Florida and Texas. Sometimes people get hurt by them. You're much more likely to get bit by a dog than hurt by an alligator. People get hurt by alligators, like I said earlier, they're getting too close to the babies, they're not paying attention. Accidents do happen, but it's not because the alligators are actively out there. Now, if you're in other countries, in Africa, crocodiles are much more likely to try to take down something bigger, but not American alligators. Yes, and I'll bring her by so you can look at her closer, but not touching the alligator either. Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Hey guys, listen up. I can't hear the question. Yeah. I've never tried to put a fidget spinner on its nose. I could see that being something, because he's pretty calm. I mean, he's just kind of sitting around when he's getting wiggly now, but the colder they are, the less active they are. So I don't, but as far as gaining trust with alligators, I wouldn't, it's against the law to have them as pets here in Georgia, so we're not going to touch the alligator. We'll touch the next animal. Reach out. What's the question right here? In the water, he swims much faster than we can. On land, I've heard they can run up to 15 miles per hour for short bursts. That's about how, like if you're on a bike coasting pretty fast, that's kind of how fast they can go. But they're not running a long distance. They might be sprinters. They can run like a short distance really fast, but they're not like, and they're not going to chase you down. They don't have any reason to, right? Yes? Well, what do animals do with their webbed feet? Swimming. Yeah, swimming. But also, besides the swimming, they do use them for mud shoes because it helps spread out the weight. So if they're walking in the swamps and trying to get out of the swamps at the edge where it's muddy, having the webbing between their feet keeps them from sinking into the mud. So that's 2 reasons they might have webbed feet. So, all righty, and last question, we'll move on. Yes? No, some of them are a little darker. American alligators generally have that greenish sort of look to them in their eyes, yeah. All right, okay, we'll do one more question. That was quick. No, I'm not going to put I can't make him open his mouth. I'm not going to put my hands up near his mouth. I just let him hang out and relax. So, all righty, you guys. Okay, we'll do one more question. We didn't have to take him from his parents necessarily because he was born in an alligator farm. So when the moms lay the eggs, they go out and collect the eggs, and when the mom's not near, that way, when this one hatched, they had an incubator, and they didn't have to like wrestle it and go out and like take it from mom. Yeah, so that's a good question there. So all right, you guys know how we say goodbye to an alligator? Say, see you later, alligator. The question online, is this the last animal? No, we have 2 more animals, Mr. Cake. All right, 2 more. We're doing 2, yeah, 2 more animals. All righty, so we'll let and by the way, none of these animals live in these carriers like this toolbox he's in from Home Depot. He doesn't live in that. Back at the zoo, he's got a little pond. He lives with another alligator. They swim around. He's got a heat lamp and place he likes to lay out, and a place we usually feed him is fish and mice and that kind of thing. So, but these are just like their carriers, kind of like when you're going down the road in a car, your parents don't want you running around in the car, so you have a car seat and buckles. These are basically their car seats, right? Okay, now my next scaly friend is a little bit different because he's missing a couple of things. This next guy doesn't have any ears, no eyelids, and no legs. So he's obviously a snake. Now, if you see a snake in the wild, should you try to play with it? No, because if you pick up a snake in the wild, it's going to be scared, and it's going to do one of 2 things. It's either going to bite you or go to the bathroom on you. And neither of those are fun. They're doing that because they're scared and they want to be left alone, right? Both of those things make me put them down, right? But if you leave them alone, because just like alligators don't want to eat people, snakes don't eat people, because as you might have already heard, snakes have to swallow their food whole in one big piece, right? Snakes can't chew their food. Snakes can't tear pieces off their food. So if a snake's going to eat something, they can stretch their mouths. And a snake can usually stretch its mouth wide enough to eat something as big around as they are in the middle of their body. So if you think about it, a snake to eat you would have to be almost as big around as you are. It'd be like 20 feet long, like from me to the wall over there. Once a snake is that big around and that long, do you think it's going to sneak up on you? No, they're big, they're slow, they're easy to see coming. And do we have snakes that big around here? No. Only a couple places in the whole world have snakes that big. Anacondas in South America, African rock pythons, Burmese pythons in Asia can get that big, but no snakes in North America get that big. So if you get bit by a snake, it's not because it wants to eat you, it's because you made it mad or scared it. But if you stay away from them, they won't be mad, they won't be scared, and you can't get bit. So you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone, I promise. Now, again, accidents happen, people make mistakes, sometimes people get bit, but like I said, it doesn't happen very often. But this is a snake that lives in Georgia, more in South Georgia, called a bull snake. B-U-L-L, like a boy cow is a bull. Bull snake. Here we go, buddy. Now, so bull snake. And now, first and most important, is this snake trying to bite me? Nope, because it's not mad, it's not scared. Obviously, it knows I'm too big to be food because it can eat something as big around as he is, which is pretty big for his head, but not looking at me and thinking I'm food. So if he did bite me, do you think this is a dangerous venomous snake? No, no fangs, no venom. So how does he kill his food? Yeah, he wraps and squeezes, right? And is this snake strong enough to squeeze it, even if he wanted to eat you? Is he strong enough or big enough to squeeze and kill anybody in here? No. But he is a constrictor, wrapping, squeeze. He has teeth. If he bit me, it would hurt a little bit, but he doesn't have fangs and venom. So as he gets a little closer, you'll notice, like the lizard, he's sticking his tongue out at you. But unlike the lizard, no ears on the side of his head. You'll never see him blink. No eyelids. Obviously, no legs. So I'll bring him by. If you want to touch him, I'll let you touch him. You can touch the tail. I'll hold the head up away from you. Not that he's going to bite you, but just for your comfort, you touch the tail. The tail hardly ever bites, I promise. And you can see what he feels like. If you don't want to touch, of course, you don't have to. Anybody want to touch? You can touch. Good job. Good job. Now, when you touch him, notice that he is not slimy. Just go ahead and touch. There you go. Notice he is not slimy. Frogs, toads, and salamanders, those amphibian guys, they're slimy. But snakes are dry. And you can't be dry and slimy at the same time, right? He is smooth. He's strong. He's scaly, but he is not slimy. There you go. That's fine. If you don't like him, that's fine. He's not wild about most people either. There you are. Good job. Here we are, snake coming through. Anyone? Want to touch? Good job. Here we go. Want to touch him? How far can they go? Well, he won't go very far because they usually have an area they hang out in where they know they can get food and stuff. And they don't have any real reason to travel around. So they're not. Some snakes are pretty fast, but you could outrun this snake. There are some snakes like black racers or mambas that are pretty fast. Okay. The little guy does that? Good job. All right. Smile for the camera. This one will show you his tongue. What's your question? How do they digest? How do they eat their food? Yeah. Is that the question about the meeting? Yeah, we said they swallow their food whole, so you already know that. So you're like, okay, so what happens to the food? His stomach is right about here, because he has everything in the inside of his body that you guys have. He has a throat, so he swallows his food. It's a big mouse, so you can see the lump go down his throat to his stomach. He only eats about once every 2 weeks. So since he eats that really big rat or mouse, it sits there and it digests in his stomach, gets smaller and smaller. Then he's got intestines. It goes down here, and then back here where his body stops, and his tail starts. It's where they go to the bathroom from. It's called a vent, and his tail is about this long, and the vent's right about there. So and that's where the females lay eggs from too, is that vent back there. So pretty cool. So, but he digests his food just the same way you guys do. But again, he only has to eat once every 2 weeks, which is handy because he only goes to the bathroom once every 2 weeks or so. So it's a lot easier to clean up after. Yeah. So yeah. Question. He's smelling me. They smell with their tongue. He's always smelling his environment. He's always like putting that tongue out, seeing if there's any mice and rats around or anything like that. That's what he's doing. Yes? That's a good question. Snakes have different foods their favorite foods. All snakes are carnivores. They're all eating meat. I mentioned we feed him mice. This kind of snake eats mostly mice and rats. We have hognose snakes at the zoo. They eat mostly amphibians like frogs and toads, but there are snakes that eat other snakes. Have you ever heard of king snakes around here? King snakes are great snakes to have in your yard because they will eat venomous snakes. King snakes will eat copperheads. So if you have a king snake in your yard, you're less likely to have dangerous venomous snakes, and they will also eat mice. So you're going to have less mice and less copperheads if you have king snakes in your yard. King cobras, you might have heard of king cobras. King cobras will only eat other snakes. That's their favorite food. So yeah, so some snakes do eat other snakes. Question? Yeah. I'd have to see it. Was it? You mentioned Florida. Was he up here or down in Florida? Here. It could be there are little ringneck snakes around here that are small. There's garter snakes around here that are pretty small. Around here, it's not likely to be a dangerous venomous snake, but I'd have to see it. There's about 50 kinds of snakes that live in Georgia. So, okay. So that's my scaly friends. But I do have one last. Okay, there's a question online, and I don't have the. Somebody asked online if it's a boy. How do you know if it's a boy or a girl? That wasn't. Is it a boy or a girl? The question is how do you know if it's a boy or a girl? In the snake world, females, the girls get bigger. So if you know it's full grown and it's really big, it's probably a female. If you The length of their tail, so the tail on that snake, if it's wider and shorter, I'm comparing again, if it's wider and shorter, it could be a male, and if it's narrower and longer on the tail, it could be a female. If it starts laying eggs, you know it's a girl. And you can do a blood test to tell if it's a girl too. So there are some ways, but you'd have to really learn about snakes to know there's, like if I just had a boy snake and a girl snake and I was standing up here with that same snake and you guys are back there, you wouldn't be able to tell if it's a boy or a girl. There's no one way to tell that's really obvious. That one is a male, that was a boy, if it matters to you. Okay, so my last animal, we're going back and finishing up with a mammal, another fuzzy animal. And this last animal, of all the animals I brought, is definitely the smartest animal. She is also the most shy, meaning most easily scared. So it's important when I get her out that you don't yell at her, okay? So I know it's exciting, and since I don't want to surprise you, I'm going to tell you what she is before I get her out, although you probably already heard. She is a capuchin monkey. I brought a monkey to share with you today. Her name is Priscilla again. She can be kind of nervous if we yell at her, just like if I walked into a room and everybody yelled at me that I didn't know. But her name's Priscilla. Come here, girl. All right, so yeah, this is Priscilla. Like I said, she's a capuchin or a capuchin monkey. She is full grown. She's an adult. She's 27 years old. She will live 40 to 45 years. So she is an adult. She's full grown. Priscilla is cute, but just because she's cute doesn't mean she's friendly. Who thinks they want to touch her? Who wants to pet her today? Now, before you volunteer, you need to know a few things. When you come up to pet her, she's going to bite you, she's going to scratch you, and she's going to attack you. Bad enough you have to go to the hospital today and get stitches. So now who wants to pet her? That's what we call an intelligence test. Some of you failed. No, hands down. I hope you were joking because I wasn't. She would bite you and scratch you. And she's not, notice, I don't have a leash on her. She doesn't want to hurt you. She's not going to jump off me to hurt you. But if you got too close to me and she thought you were trying to hurt me or trying to steal our food, she might, try to get you away from me. Just like some dogs only like their owners. So if you're out in the neighborhood or the park and you see somebody with a dog, you don't run up and pet the dog without asking if it's okay to pet, right? Same with monkeys. Monkeys usually get very bonded. They kind of like the people they're used to or the monkeys they know. And in the wild, if one troop of monkeys, like a group of monkeys is called a troop, if one troop of monkeys comes across another, they might fight over food. They might fight over that territory I was talking about, like their home areas. So that's normal for them to like really get bonded with the monkeys and people they know, but not really like strangers. That's one of the many reasons monkeys don't make good pets. As I said earlier, she's going to live 40 to 45 years. That's a long time to have a pet. As I just mentioned, they can get kind of aggressive and bite and scratch and attack your friends if, you know. They can also be very messy, because as smart as she is, you cannot potty train a monkey. So they can be very messy. So lots of good reasons, and they need to live with other monkeys, otherwise they get sad and they need to spend time. So at the zoo, she lives with other monkeys. She's a rescue. We're her third home. She came to us when she was about 9 years old. So I've had her almost 20 years and been going out and teaching people about us. She's been living with them at our zoo with other monkeys. Yes? She's trained, and she knows behaviors. Like when I put my hand up here, and she's not really doing it today. When I put my hand up, she's supposed to hold on to my hand, and that's a trained behavior for a couple reasons. That way, if we need to draw blood or from her forearm, if the veterinarian needs to get a hold of her arm or something. So she's trained, but we don't really do like circus tricks sort of thing, if that's what you're thinking of. Yes? Go ahead. Her first home? When she was born in Florida, and somebody bought her and kept her as a pet at her house. Because in some states, you're still allowed to have monkeys as pets. And so they kept her as a pet at somebody's house. When they didn't want her anymore, they sold her to somebody here in Georgia who also, they kept her in a fairly small cage in their basement without any other monkeys. And she was there for probably 5 years and was not very happy, but then it was against the law. They weren't supposed to have her, and the government found out about it, and they said they had to get rid of her, and that's when she came to live with us at our zoo. So the first 2 houses were like pet, people trying to keep her as a pet. They weren't really taking care of her right. Yes? Yeah, you might notice I'm holding on to her tail and playing with her tail, and she kind of wraps it around my neck when she's on my shoulders and stuff. This kind of monkey can swing and hang by his tail. Not all monkeys can hang and hold on with their tail. All monkeys have tails, but some can hang by them, some can't. And then apes, the bigger guys like chimpanzees and gorillas, don't have tails at all. So that's how you can tell difference in those. Yes? Either one of you. Good. We'll take both your questions, yeah. No, she would bite you. If you got that close to her, she would not be happy. Yes? She's picking at my shirt and stuff. Yeah, it's called social grooming. She's grooming me. She's just making sure I'm staying clean. In the wild, they spend a lot of time picking through each other's fur, looking for bugs and keeping each other clean. Yeah, like you can see she's kind of like picking at my shirt and like looking for things. And yeah, go ahead. When we first got her, it took her about 3 months to warm up to me, like to decide that she liked me. I'm going to step right in between you guys here so I don't have to crowd the guy on the wall. It took her about 3 months before she wanted to have anything to do with me. And it took like almost a year or more to actually I'll get her this way, she's more comfortable facing that way. It took her almost a year to get her to actually trust me enough. And it was like 4 or 5 years before I'd take her out and not have a leash on her and know that she'd stay with me. Go ahead. You have a question? Mm-hmm. She's a capuchin monkey or a capuchin monkey. C-A-P-U-C-H-I-N, capuchin. And what else? Got it? Do all capuchin monkeys look like this? We have a black cap capuchin. It's all brown with just a little black cap. There's cinnamon capuchin monkeys that are all brown. This is a female. The males are bigger. So she's going to get a little bit, she's full grown, but males usually get bigger. So they have kind of all look like this. Now there's different kinds of monkeys, of course. Squirrel monkeys and owl monkeys and howler monkeys. Remember that howler monkey? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's normal monkey. It's just kind of how they think of things in the wild. They want to be left. They want to be. They trust the monkeys they know, and they like strangers. They're afraid they're going to try to steal their food or attack them. That's just the way they have to survive in the wild. So that's already in their brains. Now, so she is cute. So we started with our animal sounds, and you guys were kind of surprised by that howler monkey sound, weren't you? They're crazy. We were in Costa Rica right before the pandemic started. I was down in Costa Rica, and those howler monkeys, they jump from rooftop to rooftop at night. There's like 20 of those, just like that low, like coming from the trees. It's crazy. But go ahead. What do you think? Go ahead, make a. What monkey noise do you think this one makes? Go ahead, make a monkey noise. Okay, that's pretty close, especially, hey guys, especially those of you that are a little higher pitched, like making the higher noises, because she makes about 30 different, she just made it in my ear. She makes about 30 different noises. She's actually making the noise right now. She makes about 30 different noises, and most of them sound more like a bird chirping. You know, like it sounds like a little chirping bird or something, but they make kind of there's one noise that she makes that I've only ever heard her make at dogs. When she sees a dog, she makes this little hoo 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 hoo, this little grunting noise. She loves dogs, but so she makes different noises, but some of them almost sound like what that noise you were making there. So go ahead. Oh no, sometimes she like nibbles on me and stuff. She does have sharp teeth. Like if she were to bite me hard, I'd be bleeding. They have canines, these sharp teeth on the sides that can sink in pretty good. So they do have, but sometimes she'll like grab onto my hand and like chew on my hand. But it's more like how little kids put everything in their mouths and they just like suck on their thumbs and stuff. When she's doing that now, that's all she's doing. She's not trying to hurt me. So now she is my last animal. Okay, somebody online asked, does she think you are a monkey too? I don't know that she thinks I'm a monkey because she's never lived in the wild in a whole big monkey troop. She was raised by people. I think it's more like she thinks she's a person than she thinks I'm a monkey because she was raised by people. In fact, until she was 9 years old and came to live at our zoo, she had never even seen another monkey because when she would have left mom when she was very, very young, she lived alone. So I think she thinks she's a person, not that I'm a monkey necessarily. So. But in the wild, each troop of monkeys has one big, strong monkey that's in charge. That's why she's bonded to me. She probably thinks I'm the big, strong monkey that will protect her and get her food. So, all righty. So that is all of our animals. If you want to see more of our animals, North Georgia Wildlife Park in Cleveland, Georgia is where I work, and we have about 400 animals up there. We have a little drive-through safari. You can come and drive around and see our camels and zebras and wildebeest and some fun stuff up there. And then we have kangaroos and all kinds of other stuff. So check us out online, North Georgia Wildlife Park. And other than that, I'm going to turn it back to your leaders. Thank you guys for having us here today. And thanks, and we will see you later.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to have some of my helpers help him get these packed up. But before we do that, we're going to have our store. But I want to ask you guys a question. Who made all those animals? God made all those animals. Do you guys know there's thousands and thousands of different kinds of animals, and God made all of them? Who made you? God made you. Do you guys know that even though there's so many cool animals, God said you were his favorite creation out of everything he made? Everyone point to yourself. Say, I'm God's favorite. Say, God made me. And the Word of God says when he made you wonderfully. So does God make any mistakes? No. God only does things in a perfect way. So he made you just the way he designed you was special, designed by him. And so what we always want to do while we're here, we're celebrating a holiday. What holiday is coming up next Sunday? Easter. Who is Easter about? Yes, we're celebrating when Jesus came and rose from the dead. Now, how many know Jesus is God? God came down and he came to earth. How many of you know why Jesus had to come? I know y'all have been sitting for a while, so we're going to do this quick. Why did Jesus have to come, Daniela? He came on earth to be human. But he came for a specific reason. He came knowing that he was going to need to die because all of us needed a Savior, because all of us have messed up. But Jesus was perfect. So he said, I'm going to come as the Son of God. I'm going to die for you on the cross so that if you believe in me and receive me, you get to be made perfect just as I'm perfect. How many want to be perfect like God's perfect? How many know without God's help, you're not perfect? How many of you messed up before? You need Jesus. So what we're going to do, I want everyone to close your eyes, bow your heads. We're almost done. We're almost done. But as we're celebrating Easter, we're celebrating how Jesus came to this earth and how he died for you and he died for me. But he wants us to believe in him and tell him that we make him our Lord, make him our God. So if you're here this morning and you've never said, I believe in you, Jesus, you've never said, I receive you, Jesus, as my Lord and Savior, because without him you can't be perfect, and without him you can't make it to heaven. But with Jesus, he will come and wash away all the bad stuff you've done. He'll come and live in your heart, and he'll make you perfect like he's perfect. So if you've never asked Jesus in your heart, and you've never said, I want to make you my God, Jesus, and I want to ask you to be in my life, I just want you to raise your hand. I see some hands. You can turn on some music for me. We're just going to pray for just a minute. If you're online, this goes for you too, because Jesus didn't come just for one. He came for all of us because he loved us. And he wants to be your best friend. He wants you to have him forever and ever. And he wants to make you perfect like he's perfect. So all it takes is saying, Jesus, I believe in you, and speaking it out loud. So we're going to say this prayer with every head bowed, every eye closed. Just pray this. Pray it with your heart. Just say, Father God. Say it out loud. Say, Father God, I thank you for sending Jesus to die for me. Jesus, I'm sorry for all the wrong things I've done. I receive you today. I receive what you did for me on the cross. And I receive your forgiveness. Come in my heart. Be my God. Be my Lord. I give you all my life today. And it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Everybody said amen. Amen. So we're celebrating this week and next week that Jesus came back to life and that he's alive today. How many know Jesus is alive? And if you said that prayer for the first time, he lives in you. And he will lead you and he will guide you and he will make your life wonderful. Isn't that good news? That's such good news. Okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to say goodbye to our online family. Turn around and say bye. We'll see you guys next Sunday for Easter Sunday. It's going to be awesome. Easter Sunday is going to be awesome. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to help you get your stuff.